Dear student, myself Rajendra Aseri, I am assistant professor in computer science department at Government Bangad PG College, Didwana. In the database and management system subject, till now we covered various concepts like database architecture, levels of abstraction, then query languages like procedural and non-procedural, SQL, structured query language, various operations in SQL, select, from, where, order by, group by clause, and then having clause, aggregate functions. Okay, then relational algebra. In relational algebra, select operation, projection operation, division operation, set union, set intersection, set difference, all these concepts, and aggregate function. After that we started a concept of indexing and hashing, and in indexing and hashing we covered primary index, secondary index, b plus tree, b tree. Okay, and insertion and deletion operation in the b plus tree and b tree. Then hashing concept. In hashing we covered uh, static and dynamic hashing. Then in just previous lecture, how to measure a query cost and how to process a query, what are the various steps involved in a query processing, all these concepts we discussed, and various join operation and their corresponding complexity or cost we already discussed, and materialization and pipelining concept also we discussed. Now in today's lecture we are starting a new lecture series on transaction. So in this lecture series we will be covering transaction concept. What do you mean by transaction? What are the various concepts involved in a perfect transaction? Transaction state. What do you mean by concrete transaction? Serializability, recoverability, how to implement isolation concept, transaction definition, how to implement in SQL query, then how to test a transaction is serializable or not, right? So starting with the basic, that is transaction concept. So first you need to understand what is basically a transaction. So before going in technical in database terms, I'm just taking a real life example. Suppose there are two person. Suppose first person is mine, Rajendra, and second person is suppose Prakash. So suppose I want to transfer 1,000 rupees from Rajendra from my account to Prakash's account. Then there involved some set of transaction step. This process is called as what? Transaction, right? First, the amount will be deducted from my account, then it will go to the bank, and from bank it will be credited into the Prakash account, right? Third, with help of third party, it can be possible. So various steps are involved. In combination, all step is called as what? Transaction, right? Now in technical term, a transaction is a unit of program execution that access and possibly update various data item. Clear? Means there are some set of program with help of which we can access or update the data item in the database, right? Example, the example which I just took, how to write down the operation or step in the technical term in database. So see, example is, suppose I want to perform a transaction to transfer $50 from account A to account B. From account A to account B, I have to transfer $50, right? Now how to do? First I need to access the account A in order to debit the amount from account A. So first step is read which relation or which account? A. Read of A, and after that I have to deduct 50 rupees or $50 from A. So how to do that? A equal to A minus 50 with the help of assignment, and assignment work from right to left. So right side A minus 50, A will be updated with A minus 50. So now initially A is having 1,000, now A is having 950. Initially suppose A is having 1,000, now after second step A will become having 950 because 50 rupees has been deducted from it, right? Now third step is write A. Now we need to update this A value with 950 in the database. So up to third step, first step This is done with account A. Now account A initially 1000. Now account A in the database is having 950. Now 50 rupees is not yet credited in the account B. It is in between, in the air we can say. Now next we need to access account B, read B. Now in B we need to add, so suppose B is having 700 initially. Now B we are is getting 50, so 700 plus 50, that is 750. Now write B means in B we need to update the value in the database. So initially A was having 1000 and B was having 700. After the deduction A will have 950 and B will have 750. Okay, now there are two main issues are there to deal with. First, failure of various kinds. Suppose the money is deducted from account A but it is not credited in the account B. This is the scenario all of you, I think all the student who is watching this video, this lecture, face this problem that money is deducted from your account but it is not credited in the person in the account to whom you want to transfer. Okay, so failure might occur of various kinds such as hardware failure and system crashes, or second is concurrent execution of multiple transactions. Now example of fund transfer, just we have done $50 we transfer from A to B. Then first we read the account A, then deduct 50 from account A and then update the value of account A in database. Second, we access the account B. After that we just update or modify the value of B with 50. Okay, and then just uh, update the value in the database of the final B account value, right? Now there are some requirement in order to perform this transaction in perfect manner, right? Atomicity requirement. What do you mean by atomicity? If the transaction fail after step 3, suppose after step 3 means the money is deducted from account A, but after third step it is the transaction will be failed. In this transaction there are six steps involved, and I'm saying that after third step, if the transaction will be failed and before sixth step means in between 4 to 6 the transaction will be failed, then money will be lost, leading to an inconsistent database state, right? So failure could be due to software or hardware. Now the system should ensure that updates of a partially executed transaction are not reflected in the database. We need to ensure that this partial transaction should not be reflected in the database. Means if the database is in the partial state, then it should go in the previous step before making the transaction. It is called as the atomicity. Atomicity means either zero or full, means either transaction should not happen, or if it is happening then it should not be in between, it should happen debit as well as credit, it should be happen in fully manner, right? Second is durability requirement. Once the user has been notified that the transaction has completed, that is the transfer of the $50 has taken place in this example, then the update to the database by the transaction must persist even if there are software or hardware failure. We used to say that there are some software and hardware failure might occur during the transaction steps. So we need to ensure that the transaction state should be updated or should be durable till the transaction which we have done all the step has been reflected in the database in fully manner, right? Now example of fund transfer, we are continuing this. Suppose we are transferring $50 from account A to B, then first three steps are related to account A deduction, and next three steps 4 to 6 are related to account B. First three account A and next three is account B. Now consistency requirement. In this example we need to maintain the consistency. Isolation we have done in the previous example, we have done isolation or atomicity. Second, durability also we ensure. Next is consistency. Consistency requirement means the sum of A and B is unchanged by the execution of the transaction. Means money is not going anywhere, subtracted from A and it is added in B. So total sum A plus B before transaction and after transaction A plus B. should be same. So we are in the example, initially A was 1000 and B was having 700. After the transaction, A was having 950 and B was having 750. So if you add A plus B before the transaction, the value is 1700, and after the transaction the value is 1700. In both the cases the value is same, right? So it means this transaction is maintaining the consistency requirement also. In general, we can say consistency requirement include explicitly specified integrity constraints such as primary keys and foreign key. We need to maintain this integrity constraint in order to say that your consistency requirement is fully satisfied. Now, second is implicit integrity constraint. In implicit, one example is listed here: sum of balances of all the account minus sum of loan amount must equal value of cash in hand. Yes, very true. In real life, a transaction must see a consistent database. During the transaction execution, the database may be temporarily inconsistent in between. Okay, but at the end and initially, transaction should be in the consistent state. When the transaction completes successfully, the database must be in the consistent state. Now there are erroneous transaction logic which can lead to inconsistency. Next is example of fund transfer isolation requirement. Isolation requirement means, suppose I'm saying that at the same time two transactions are happening in parallel, and if they are influencing each other, then we can say the database can go in inconsistent state. So we need to isolate means maintain the isolation property of the transaction, means the operation of one transaction should not influence the values of the another transaction which are happening in parallel or concurrent manner, right? So if you see, if between step 3 and 6 another transaction T2 is allowed, you see this is the T1 transaction and this is what T2 transaction. So after 3 step, at fourth step, before the fourth step and after 3 step, in between we are performing what? Transaction T2. So transaction T1 step and T2 step are not influencing each other, it means they are isolated, right? So see, if T2 is allowed to access the partially updated database, it will see an inconsistent state. Why? Because initially A was 1000 in the database, now after third step it is 950 after 50 deduction. So T2 will read the value 950, not 1000. Okay, and B value will be read as what? 700. So 700 plus 950, that is 1650, and in for maintaining the consistency the value should be 1700. So T2 transaction will see the inconsistency, right? So why? Because they are influencing the value of each other. So isolation can be ensured trivially by running the transaction serially. Okay, either run the transaction in serial manner. Okay, that is, first complete the T1 transaction in fully manner, update all the value, reflect all the value in the database, and then start the T2 transaction. Clear? However, executing multiple transactions concurrently has significant benefit because they improve the efficiency, performance, throughput. Okay, and the concurrency we will see in the upcoming slide or upcoming lecture. Now, ACID property. So a transaction is a unit of program execution that access and possibly update various data item to preserve the integrity of the database system. In order to have a perfect transaction, atomicity need to maintain. Atomicity means either all operation of the transaction are properly reflected in the database or none are. Okay, either zero or full. Consistency, execution of the transaction in isolation preserves the consistency of the database. Now in ACID property, third is I means isolation. Although multiple transactions may execute concurrently, but each transaction must be unaware of another transaction which are concurrently executing parallel to that. So intermediate transaction results must be hidden from the other concurrently executed transaction. That is, for every pair of transaction T and I and T of J, it appear to Ti that either Tj finished execution before Ti started or Tj started execution after Ti finished. Means in serial order we need to just in order to ensure the isolation, just make the transaction in serial order. Durability: after a transaction completes successfully, the changes it has made to the database persist even if there are some system failure. Now there are some transaction state. It can be active state, partially committed state, failed, aborted, and committed. So in active state, the initial state in which transaction stays in is state while it is executing. Active means execution state. Partially committed means some statement done, then it can go in partially executed or partially committed. Failed: after the discovery that normal execution cannot be no longer proceed, then it will go in the fail. Aborted: after the transaction has been rolled back, and rolled back means we have taken all the operation back, okay, in the transaction, and database restored to its prior state before the start of the transaction. Then there are two options after it has been aborted: either it restart or kill the transaction. And committed means successful completion. So this is given here. From active state it can go to the partially committed or failed state. From fail, if it is failed, then definitely it will go to the aborted. Partially committed, it means after that it can come in the failed state or it can go to the final successful committed. So that's all from this lecture. Thank you.